Aquarius, this is Tisch Aitken, and this is your monthly report for the month of September. The month of August had very hectic and chaotic energy for most. It was very strong Aquarian and Uranian energy. You are one of the few signs that has two rulers. Saturn is the ancient ruler, and that's the planet of structure and karmic lessons and regulations, but Uranus is more the maverick planet, the planet of genius and chaos and surprise and the unexpected. And Jupiter, which is the grand benefic and the luckiest planet, and it represents higher learning and wisdom as well as hope and optimism, re-entered your sign on July 28th, where it will be until December 29th of this year. It was briefly transiting in the mutable water sign of Pisces, in your house of income and how you earn money. And now it's back transiting in your house of self. This gives you a lot of opportunities for meeting new people. You are a very social sign. You're the sign of friends and groups and community and networking, but also about technology and social media. If you have your own business, it's a time of embracing technology to another level in terms of rebuilding, because realistically last year was the epic of Capricorn, and it brought down many structures in our lives. And Capricorn is associated more with businesses and corporations. Aquarius is more centered on the future and technology and communities. So we're bringing the advantage of the futuristic ability of technology to facilitate our rebuilding, and that's really where we need to go with this in order to heal, and coming together in community and in person too, because we're seeing the Saturn return of the internet when Saturn was last in your sign, and the alienation that is possible with that story as well. And so Jupiter re-entered your sign on July 28th, expanding the ability to connect and meet people and technological advancement, but also expanding the chaos that each of us has been feeling, and for you probably making you very busy with a lot going on. The Sun, Mercury, and Venus were all transiting in Leo, which is your opposite sign, in your house of relationships and partnerships, and they squared Uranus, which is the planet that is the modern ruler of your sign, brilliance and chaos that could bring unexpected news and changes and endings with family members and with partnerships. So a lot going on this month for you. And then on August 19th, Uranus station retrograde at 14 degrees and 47 minutes of the fixed earth sign of Taurus, and you felt that 5 days before and 5 days after. And anything at 15 degrees of the fixed signs is at the world point, which means everybody feels it. Big world events hitting people on the world stage, but hitting all of us. And the fixed signs are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. And for you, again, that Uranus station occurred in your house of home and emotional foundation, whether they're big changes within your family, within getting your needs met, with regards to real estate, or maybe career. It was a very upending type of energy. So as we begin September, it's not as intense in that way. The Sun and Mars are both transiting in the mutable earth sign of Virgo. And for you, the Sun and Mars are both transiting in your house of healing work, intimacy, and joint resources. And it helps you to take action, to empower yourself, to face the fears in order to heal. Also, maybe you're repairing your credit or your debt, and that's a good use of the energy. Mercury, which is the planet of communication, and Venus, which is the planet of relationships, are both transiting in the cardinal air sign of Libra in your house of hope and manifesting and promotion and higher learning. And this is a good opportunity for you for promoting yourself. If you have your own business, maybe you're taking classes, maybe you're teaching workshops and doing some meditation and manifesting work to keep your optimism, because you are the one most in the hot seat. This is the new age of Aquarius, and it's a very busy time for you. So as we begin September, Mars opposes Neptune on September 2nd at 1:43 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that could bring confusion with intimate relationships. Maybe there are some wounds around that area. Maybe there's a bit of confusion. It could be difficulties with finances as well. Day of laying low if you're able. Then on the 4th of September, there is definitely better energy, because Mercury, which is transiting in Libra in your house of promotion and optimism, forms a beautiful trine to Saturn, which is transiting in your sign on and off until March 7th of 2023. And that brings committed, structured communication. And that occurs at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And that can be very productive for your financial goals, for being creative, and for structuring what you're trying to accomplish. On September 5th, there are more challenging influences at play. We've got Venus is transiting in the cardinal air sign of Libra, where it loves to be, but it squares Pluto at 11:07 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And for you, Pluto is transiting in your house of endings and the subconscious mind, and it might be bringing up things that you need to release in order to heal. And for some, it could bring breakups or just people being very combative. So kind of laying low with that energy if you're able. But the 6th of September has really good energy. It's an excellent day for a new moon, which does take place on that day. So circle it in your calendar. At 8:20 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Mars forms a beautiful trine to Uranus. And for you, that could be good for doing healing work around your finances, getting your needs met, around family and real estate, and taking very inventive and innovative action regarding your financial picture or other things you're trying to do. You'll be thinking in very innovative ways. And then at 9:05 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Venus forms a beautiful trine to Jupiter. Venus is still transiting in its dignity in the cardinal air sign of Libra, trining Jupiter in your sign. And that is really nice. Good for manifesting creative endeavors. Great for your financial opportunities, because Jupiter is transiting in your sign, bringing a lot of opportunity. And I feel that that this is going to be very exciting, whatever you want it to be, romantic, social, professional. It brings new opportunities. And then let's see, the new moon takes place at 8:52 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time at 14 degrees and 28 minutes of the mutable Earth sign of Virgo, and that's in your house of transformation and healing. So it's a really good time for purging negative thoughts that are keeping you from doing healing work, and good for your finances and for your debt, for healing that area, and also focusing on building your assets, and for partnering with others and opening yourself to intimacy if you've been scared in this really tough time. A lot of people have been building walls, I feel. And then right after that, the sun forms a beautiful trine to Uranus at 9:29 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that also can be really good for you for tapping into innovative action and just bringing light to the wounds. So I think that's a nice energy and a really good day for setting intentions about what you want to empower in your life, what you want to eliminate, and how you want to fix your intimate and your romantic and your financial areas of your life. And then on September 7th, Mercury opposes Chiron, the wounded healer, at 11:30 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, and on September 8th at 2:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And that is an opportunity for facing wounds around vulnerability or other areas where you're just, we're all in a very painful time. So it's a good opportunity for facing that and having the courage to do so. And then on September 10th, Venus changes signs and it enters the fixed water sign of Scorpio, where it'll be until October 7th. And this for you, it's transiting in your house of career and life goals, and it's good for making a good impression. It's good for dealing with the public. Venus is technically in its detriment in the sign of Scorpio, but because it rules the opposite sign of Taurus. But again, it's going to be in your house of public reputation. So if you're trying to make connections with other people, it's great for negotiations, great for putting on a good appearance, and for dealing with the public at large. And then on September 14th, the sun opposes Neptune at 5:21 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that could bring a haze or confusion regarding intimate relationships or financial partnerships potentially. Later that day at 8:14 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Mars, which is the planet of action, enters the cardinal air sign of Libra, where it will be until October 30th. And it's transiting in your house of hope and teaching and manifesting. Mars is in its detriment because it rules the opposite sign of Aries, but nonetheless, this is good for you for tapping into doing manifesting work, for taking classes, for learning. A lot of people are still on the fence on promoting themselves. This is an excellent opportunity for figuring out what that is for you, whether you're taking a marketing class, whether you're doing something more with a podcast or with YouTube, or maybe you're looking for a job and you're finding other platforms on social media, but finding ways to promote yourself. Maybe there's certain things you need to learn in your field that you've been putting off. Excellent time with Mars transiting in the house of higher learning, and it will be there through the end of October. So that is a good opportunity for you. And then on, let's see, on September 16th, the sun forms a beautiful trine to Pluto, and this occurs at 9:53 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that's a good opportunity for doing, for feeling empowered and feeling courageous and tapping into your power with that energy. And then later that day, Venus squares Saturn, and that's a reality check, and that occurs at 11:15 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time and at 2:15 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time on September 17th. And for all of us, figuring out what's working so we can structure and anchor that further. Saturn's transiting in your sign, and Venus is transiting in your house of career and life goals. So obviously you want to know what's working so that you can structure it further, and that makes sense. You don't want to keep working on something that's not giving you any dividends in any way. And then on September 20th, there's a full moon. It's a very emotional day. The moon meets up with Neptune at 7:39 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that is when it can be very psychic and intuitive, but it's a very emotional placement of the moon, probably the most psychic of all of the signs. And Mercury does form a beautiful trine to Jupiter that day, and that occurs at 6:53 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that is helpful for tapping into optimism in a difficult full moon, because the moon in Pisces tends to be often psychic and intuitive, but it can, focus on loss or just feeling off or feeling very vulnerable. And the full moon occurs at 7:53 p.m. at 28 degrees and 14 minutes of the mutable water sign of Pisces. And that's on a fixed star and a Shiat, which is the final degree of Pisces. And this is a fixed star associated with the Titanic and with shipwrecks and with loss. And it's not to say that something like that's going to happen, more that each of us may be feeling very emotional that day and be feeling lost in some regard, where we feel, it's hard to nurture ourselves. So again, tapping into Mercury in Libra, which is about partnering, trining Jupiter in Aquarius, which is about partnering through expanding community and brilliance and learning. And Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. It's limitless learning, and that is really our way to reinvent, and that is our biggest resource. And then the fall equinox occurs in the northern hemisphere on September 22nd. The sun will enter the cardinal air sign of Libra at 3:21 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that's when the sun crosses the celestial equator and heads south in the northern hemisphere, and it's approximately equal day and equal night. And in the southern hemisphere it heads north, and it is the beginning of the spring equinox. And we honor the next few months in store and what that has for all of us and what the season brings. And I cast the chart for the fall equinox, and it has Capricorn ascendant approximately at 14 degrees of Capricorn, and that speaks back to when Saturn retrograded, stationed direct in September of 2019 at 13 degrees of Capricorn. So whatever you were working with at that time, how you can anchor these goals. Pluto, the cosmic compost, squares Mercury at 9:12 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time on the day of the equinox. And that means that there are, again, things we need to release and eliminate in order to evolve our thoughts and learn as fast and quickly and as well as we can, because we need to evolve and learn as fast as we can. And the moon will be at 21 degrees of Aries at the time of the equinox, and that speaks back to when Saturn and Pluto met up on January 12th of 2020, and that brought down the structures in our lives. And anything at 22 degrees of the cardinal signs is at the world point, and those are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. And now the moon will be just a degree off from that point. Again, speaking to how we get our needs met, finding the courage to fight, and, you know, with justice, you know, also, obviously, Venus in Libra, but, well, Venus will no longer be in Libra, but with justice, the sun is entering Libra, so certainly with harmony and justice, but Libra is also the iron fist and the velvet glove, so going for what you want with integrity and justice, but not giving up. And on the 23rd of September, Venus opposes Uranus at 5:41 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that could bring unexpected events professionally, socially. More than likely it's regarding your career or family, because that's where planets are transiting, but there will be some you know, unexpected events that day. And then on the 25th of September, Mars forms a helpful trine to Saturn, and this occurs at let's see, at 5:50 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that's helpful for bringing structure to what you're trying to accomplish and what you're trying to promote or learn. And again, Saturn is transiting in your sign, so that's a helpful energy. And then on September 26th, Mercury stations retrograde at 10:10 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, and on September 27th at 1:10 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time at 25 degrees and 28 minutes of the cardinal air sign of Libra. And for you, it's retrograding in your house of teaching and learning and publicity and promotion and optimism. Now, this speaks back to when Venus retrograded in the fall of 2018. Every 8 years, Venus retrogrades approximately at 10 degrees of Scorpio, where it did for you in your house of career and life goals on October 5th of 2018, and it stationed on November 17th at 25 degrees of Libra. Now Mercury, the planet of communication and perspective and learning, is retrograding right at this point at 25 degrees. It will station direct on October 18th at 10 degrees of Libra, and it will leave Libra altogether on November 6th. This is a great opportunity to figure out how you can be more effective in learning and promoting yourself and whatever you're trying to improve in your life that you want to learn, or if you're trying to improve communication. On the 29th of September, Venus forms a beautiful trine to Neptune at 12:14 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that can be good for professional goals for you and getting things done. And then later, the Sun trines Saturn at 6:19 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that can be good for structuring what you're trying to accomplish, and it's very good for solid, committed action with Saturn making a positive angle. And then on September 30th, Venus squares Jupiter. Those are the two benefics. Venus is transiting in your house of career, and Jupiter's transiting in your house of self and new beginnings, and that could just be a very busy day. I don't see it as a negative. I wish you a lot of luck, Aquarius. You got Jupiter through the end of the year. Really focus on how you can open the doors and expand your options, because Saturn will reward your hard work. Jupiter will give you gifts and blessings in the process. Take care and thank you.